Hello, my friends. Welcome back to English 5 Days Official. Today, I want to dive into something that often trips up English learners: misconceptions about learning English. A misconception is a false belief, something that seems true but isn't. And here's the tricky part: misconceptions aren't just harmless ideas floating in your mind. They are sneaky roadblocks. They make learning confusing, slow your progress, and can even steal your confidence. But here's the good news: once you see through them, everything becomes clearer. You can relax, focus your energy in the right places, and step by step, feel genuine fluency growing inside you, quietly but powerfully, like a tree stretching its roots deep into the ground. In this episode, I'm going to share some of the most common misconceptions that learners still believe, things that aren't often talked about in class, but can make a huge difference in your journey. Together, we'll examine each one carefully, and I'll reveal the truth behind them. As always, I'll speak slowly and clearly, using simple words so you can follow along effortlessly. This isn't just information, it's guidance that, if applied, can transform the way you learn. So, let's begin our journey. Misconception number 1: watching movies with subtitles will make you fluent automatically. Many learners are in love with English movies and TV series. They binge watch for hours, subtitles on, feeling proud because, in their minds, this is studying. But here's the subtle trap. Some believe that merely watching, without doing anything else, will make them fluent. Unfortunately, this isn't true. Watching is useful. It exposes you to vocabulary, pronunciation, and rhythm. But it is passive. Your eyes and ears are working, yes, but your mouth remains silent. Your memory isn't exercised deeply, and your brain isn't being challenged to produce English actively. Think of it like exercise. If you sit on the sofa and watch a video of someone running, do you think your body will get fit? Absolutely not. To get stronger, you must move. You must run, lift, stretch. English works the same way. Fluency doesn't come from observation alone. You need active engagement. Pause the video, repeat the lines, shadow the actors, imitate their intonation, their rhythm, their expression. Write down useful phrases and sentences. Work with the material, don't just watch it. That's when movies truly become a powerful tool rather than just entertainment. The truth is beautifully simple. Movies can help, but only when you work with them actively, not passively. Think of them as a mirror reflecting language, not a magic wand granting instant fluency. By copying lines, practicing aloud, and integrating phrases into your own speech, you create the muscles of English, strong, flexible, and ready to express your thoughts freely. Misconception number 2: speaking fast means speaking fluently. Many learners are convinced that fluency is measured by speed. If I speak quickly, people will think I'm fluent, they tell themselves. But here's the secret: speed and fluency are not the same. Real fluency isn't about racing through words. It's about smooth, natural communication. It's about clarity, comfort, and confidence. When you try to speak too fast, words often crash into one another. Grammar falters, sentences tangle, and suddenly you feel nervous, even panicked inside. Native speakers are a wonderful example of this truth. They aren't always rushing. In fact, they slow down when they need to be understood, use pauses strategically, and repeat words or phrases when necessary. This is normal, natural communication. So, remember, you don't need speed to be fluent. Focus on being clear, calm, and confident. Let your words flow with intention rather than haste. Fluency lives in clarity and presence, not in the race against time. Misconception number 3. You must think in English all the time. Teachers often encourage learners saying, think in English, not in your native language. I've said this myself, and I've explored it in other videos. It's good advice, but some learners take it to the extreme, believing they must never think in their native language. When this doesn't happen, guilt sets in, stress follows. Sometimes it even leads to hopelessness. But here's the truth. Your brain cannot switch into English thinking like flipping a light switch. Thinking in English develops gradually, naturally, and it grows from repeated practice, slowly and steadily, like a tree spreading its branches toward the sun. So, what's the practical approach? You can create small English islands in your day. During breakfast, describe your food in English for 10 minutes. In the evening, write a short diary entry in English for 15 minutes. When listening to music, try singing along. These tiny, deliberate moments accumulate. Slowly, English begins to feel like the language your brain naturally chooses. You don't need to force yourself to think in English every second. You just need regular, intentional practice, and over time, it blossoms effortlessly. Misconception number 4. One perfect method is enough. Many learners are on a quest for the magical solution, a single book, app, or course that will instantly make them fluent. But language learning isn't a magic trick. It's more like constructing a house. One tool can't build the entire structure. You need a variety of tools. You need different kinds of practice. Listening to real voices, shadowing, speaking, reading stories or articles, writing your own sentences, and engaging in real conversations. Each method develops one part of your English ability. Alone, they are small pieces, but together, they create a strong, resilient structure. The truth is clear. Don't search for a single perfect method. Instead, craft your own mix of techniques and use them consistently. Think of yourself as an architect of your English fluency, assembling each skill thoughtfully, day by day. Misconception number 5. Learning English is a straight line. Many learners expect progress to feel linear, faster, better, easier every week. But learning is rarely so tidy. It's more like climbing a mountain. Some days you ascend rapidly. Other times you plateau, standing on a flat stretch, feeling like you aren't moving at all. This pause is not failure. It's a natural part of learning. Your brain is reorganizing, your memory is consolidating, your connections are strengthening. These quiet times are moments of invisible growth. So the truth is, don't fear plateaus. They are signs your brain is preparing for the next leap forward. Patience and persistence are essential companions on this journey. Understanding this allows you to continue without frustration, embracing both the peaks and the pauses along the path to fluency. Misconception number 6. If you don't start young, you will never be fluent. Adults often fall prey to this belief. They worry, I'm too old. My accent will never change. But here's a liberating truth. Age is never the barrier that learners imagine. Children may mimic sounds quickly, but adults have focus, discipline, and strategies. Adults can listen attentively, imitate carefully, and practice repeatedly with patience and intention. Over time, adults' pronunciation can become clear and natural. Fluency isn't about age, it's about habits, consistency, and deliberate effort. Your daily practice, repeated with care and persistence, outweighs the calendar. So never let age deter you. Your dedication is the true measure of progress. Misconception number 7. You must learn difficult words and advanced grammar to impress others. Many learners fall into this trap. They believe that the key to sounding intelligent and fluent is to fill their speech with rare, complicated vocabulary and complex grammar structures. They scour dictionaries for unusual words, memorize lengthy lists, and try to compose sentences that feel sophisticated, imagining that others will admire their brilliance. But here's the truth, my friends. This approach often backfires. Complicated words and structures that aren't used correctly can confuse your listener, disrupt communication, and ironically, make you feel less confident rather than more. True fluency, the kind that allows you to navigate real conversations effortlessly, is built on simplicity, repetition, and practicality. It's built with high-frequency words, short phrases, and sentence chunks that are used every day in real life. Phrases like, "How's it going? Could you help me with this? Let me check. I'm on my way," or "I'll get back to you." These may seem ordinary at first glance, but they are the muscles of the language. They allow you to express yourself smoothly, quickly, and naturally. They give your English body strength, flexibility, and endurance. The beauty of these phrases is that they are versatile, repeatable, and instantly usable. They live in the fabric of everyday communication, forming the backbone of fluency. So instead of exhausting yourself with rare words that you rarely use, focus on these practical, high-frequency chunks. Build a strong foundation of language that carries your speech with clarity and confidence. Understand that true communication is about connection, comprehension, and comfort, not about impressing anyone with complexity. Real fluency lives in simplicity, and the ability to be understood clearly is far more impressive than sounding artificially sophisticated. Misconception number 8. Silence means failure. This is one of the most pervasive and harmful misconceptions that learners face. Many believe that if they pause while speaking, hesitate, or take a moment to think, they are failing, that their fluency is somehow broken, that every gap in speech is a mark of incompetence. This fear of silence can lead to rushed sentences, anxious speech, and even avoidance of speaking altogether. But let me reassure you, silence is natural, normal, and an essential part of real communication. Native speakers pause frequently. They use words like and phrases like "let me think," not because they are unskilled, but because they are carefully crafting their message. Pauses allow your brain to organize thoughts, clarify meaning, and select the perfect words. Pauses signal to your listener that you are thoughtful, deliberate, and confident, rather than hurried or unsure. In fact, strategic silence can enhance clarity, provide rhythm to your speech, and demonstrate self-assurance. The fear of silence is largely an illusion created by our obsession with constant speed, performance, and perfection. By embracing pauses, you grant yourself the freedom to think, to adjust, to speak deliberately, and to communicate with precision. Remember, your pauses are not gaps in your fluency. They are moments that sustain it. Moments where your language and your mind synchronize to produce clear, intentional communication. Fluency is not the absence of pauses. Fluency is the presence of mindful, confident, and authentic expression. And silence is a vital instrument in this orchestration. Now let's step back and reflect on all these misconceptions together. Think of fluency not as a magical gift bestowed from the outside, not as a speed test, not as a perfect series of words, and certainly not as a linear, stress-free journey. Fluency is the result of persistent, daily effort, careful attention, and consistent practice. It grows slowly, quietly, and powerfully, like roots extending through the soil, strengthening the trunk of a tree until it stands tall and resilient. Every small step you take, every moment you dedicate to listening, speaking, writing, or thinking in English, even if imperfect, is a brick laid in the foundation of your fluency. Real fluency does not come from watching movies passively, nor from racing through sentences, nor from forcing yourself to think in English every second, nor from hunting for a single perfect method, nor from avoiding plateaus, nor from worrying about age. Fluency is built by creating a rich environment where English is consistently present in your daily life, where practice is varied, deliberate, and joyful, and where mistakes are embraced as lessons rather than obstacles. Each phrase you repeat, each line you shadow, each diary entry you write, each conversation you engage in is part of the invisible scaffolding of your English skills. The journey is cumulative. No step is wasted. Even plateaus, moments when progress feels stalled, are periods where your brain consolidates, reorganizes, and prepares for the next leap forward. Silence, slow speech, repetition, simplicity, and deliberate pauses are not weaknesses. They are signs of thoughtful, strategic growth. Fluency is not a gift from outside. It is cultivated inside. It is daily practice that matters more than age, consistency that matters more than innate talent, courage that matters more than perfection, and patience that matters more than speed. It is the sum of all the small, repeated actions, the deliberate efforts you make each day, the habit of using language actively rather than passively. Every time you speak, write, read, or even think a little in English, you are adding layers of strength to your skills. Mistakes are not failures. They are signposts pointing the way forward, opportunities to refine your understanding and strengthen your expression. By accepting these truths, you liberate yourself from the myths and pressures that often paralyze learners. You shift your focus from illusions of rapid perfection to the reality of steady, sustainable progress. So, my friends, which misconception did you believe before today? Which truth feels like a revelation, opening a door you didn't know existed? Reflect on these carefully. Embrace the practice that feels natural, enjoyable, and consistent. Celebrate small victories and understand that every pause, every repetition, every simple phrase learned and applied is a victory in itself. Let go of unrealistic expectations and focus instead on creating a life where English is a familiar, comfortable, and trusted companion. Like a gardener tending to a growing plant, your daily attention, care, and patience will produce a strong, vibrant, and resilient fluency. Each step matters, no matter how small. Each effort compounds over time, leading to visible, undeniable progress. Remember, fluency is not magic. It is not perfection. It is not speed. It is not about age or impressing others. Fluency is the quiet accumulation of daily effort, the courage to continue despite mistakes, the patience to allow growth to unfold naturally, and the calm heart that accepts the journey with grace. So go forward with energy, with curiosity, with persistence. Speak, write, listen, and engage consistently. Use mistakes as lessons. Pause when needed. Repeat when necessary. Build your muscles of English deliberately. Let clarity, confidence, and calmness guide you. This is the path to real fluency. I'm Tom, and this is English 5 Days Official. Thank you for listening. Thank you for investing time in yourself. And remember, keep learning, keep practicing, and most importantly, keep believing in yourself. Every small effort you make is a step forward. Fluency is within your reach, patiently waiting for your dedication to bring it to life. So step into each day with purpose, step into each practice with intention, and step into your English with courage. The journey is yours to own, and every step, however small, builds the reality of a confident, capable, and authentic English speaker. Until next time, my friends, stay curious, stay motivated, and embrace every moment of your English adventure.